Okay, getting the basics of life right. There are a few basics that, in my view, are beneficial to be understood if success in life is desired. As I'm now reflecting, I wouldn't tell you a big story. I just imported my books that I used to read 8 years ago. And I was realizing that I was kind of meeting my younger self. And I looked back and said, all of this time, all of these resources, what happened? And it was not because I was knowing that I was doing something wrong and the resources just disappeared. I wasn't really aware of what I was doing wrong. And now looking back, reading these books for the first time in 8 years, it's kind of like meeting my own younger self after 8 years, which is so interesting. And so, yeah, that also led me back to reading through my notes and the thoughts that I had back then. That is so interesting, the priorities that I had, and what I really wanted to do. So yeah, basics of life. What do I understand now that I didn't understand back then? So certainly, what we think is who we become. And it depends on what the priorities are. Back then, for example, my priorities used to be dating instead of business. And not dating for the sake of getting married, but just dating for the sake of validation. And that was upside down. And I've realized that that it's so important that we start early and that we do what we do with the right intention. What I mean by that is that I basically grew up and did not make experiences with women because I was feeling I stood in my own way and didn't want to confront the fears that I had behind that, and so that set me back. And so I realized how few things we really can do in life, and we can do well in life. And so, if instead of learning how to relate to women at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, you start at 23, 24, 25, and you feel behind. You try very hard like I used to. And it bled into these early 20s and deranged my priorities. And so that really is one of the basics where I feel that in order to get it right, that needs to be understood. This dynamic of priorities and what really is important and what is not important. And I thought it was really important. In fact, I thought that I needed to do that in order something on the outside that I didn't feel I was getting on the inside. So I was walking away around, looking to see. And a lot of that was also a lot of ugly character traits. Entitlement, that hard. Thing about families. I did understand the merit of hard work, but making money back then just was not a priority in the way that it is now. And so, it's very interesting. Very interesting to learn all of these things. That's why such a desire, such a fire in my heart to impart these learnings to young people right now who may also have this upside down, and sharing some of these lessons of what we want, the basics, getting all of these basics into order. That being hard on oneself, hating oneself is not necessarily beneficial. And it sounds so trite, so obvious, but I really on some level believed, even if it was subconscious, that if I'm just hard on myself, if I just put myself in a position where I'm like back to the wall and I really had to figure this out, putting myself in debt in order to learn how to make money, that was basically just a way of being hard on myself. Part of it was also the psychological underlying of feeling that if people just see that I'm suffering enough, they will at some point pay attention. Give some love, at least some consonant. But yeah. Anyways, it was good to speak about that. This is the morning walk, but yeah, that's why it's such a desire for me to impart these lessons, because I know that there must be a few other thousands, if not millions of people who are dealing with similar situations, similar issues, and similar confusions. Right? How is it that you could not have everything at your disposal? You have energy, youthful energy, of resources and all day time. And how come you get led astray? Even if you give up now, even if you give up, that's how far I was taken. You don't see the rest of it. The rest of the world is insane. That now starts a work session, 7 minutes. Let's go.